Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is absolutely crucial for anyone using AI in their work. We're talking about why, when it comes to AI, the buck stops with you. We're going to build the exact framework you need to own your AI output.
All right, let's just jump right in with the single most important rule of working with AI. And honestly, it's a lesson a lot of people are learning the hard way. The AI didn't make a mistake, you did, by trusting it without verification. And look, that's not just some snappy quote. That is the cold, hard, legal, and professional reality we are all living in right now. So to really get a handle on your responsibility here, we need a powerful way to think about what an AI, what a large language model actually is. And the best mental model I've found is this. Think of it as your brilliant but completely, utterly unreliable intern. And really nailing this metaphor, really getting it, that is the whole key to using these tools safely and effectively. An LLM is a brilliant, fast intern, creative, eager, and unpredictable. Let's really dig into this, because I promise you, once this clicks, your entire approach to using AI is going to change forever, and definitely for the better. This comparison here is just fascinating, right? On one side, you have this tool that works at lightning speed. It can brainstorm and draft stuff faster than any human could ever hope to. But on the other side, and this is the critical part, it has zero of the safeguards we take for granted with people. It has no conscience. It doesn't get what consequences even means. And it has absolutely no fear of getting fired from messing up. It is pure, raw capability with zero accountability.
And yeah, this is the tempting part, isn't it? This is why we all jumped on board with these things. Come on, drafting content in seconds, brainstorming dozens of ideas just like that, summarizing a super dense document, writing code snippets. It's an unbelievable accelerator for just about any kind of work.
But this right here, this is where that intern metaphor becomes absolutely crucial. You have to get this. Your brilliant intern cannot understand consequences. It has no way to verify its own facts. It literally cannot tell the difference between the truth and something that just sounds true. It's not connected to the real-time world. And, again, no conscience. It's all technical skill, which leaves this huge, gaping hole where your judgment and your accountability have to fill in.
So what happens? What happens when the work from this brilliant, but let's be honest, fundamentally flawed intern gets sent out into the world without anyone checking it? Well, that is the moment when your trust in the tool becomes a massive professional liability.
Let's start with the legal field. This is a profession where accuracy is everything, and mistakes can be devastating.
So picture this. A paralegal is using an LLM for some case research. The AI spits out what looks like a perfect legal precedent, a case name that sounds real, a citation that looks legit. The lawyer, trusting the output, files it in a brief. What happens? Well, the model just made it up. It confidently invented a case that never existed. And that's not a hypothetical. It really happened. The fallout? Court sanctions, maybe even malpractice claims.
Okay, now let's raise the stakes. Let's talk about healthcare, where a mistake isn't just about money, it can be about life and death.
So imagine a clinic is using an AI to draft some handouts for patients. The AI, trying to be helpful, suggests a medication dosage, but it gets it wrong, dangerously wrong. It spits out 100 milligrams instead of 10. That's a 10 times overdose. A simple, innocent copy-paste, born from just trusting the machine, could literally have a fatal outcome, not to mention losing your medical license and facing unbelievable lawsuits.
And what about journalism? In the news world, your credibility is the only thing you have. It's your currency, and it is so easy to lose. Check this out. A reporter, crunched for time, uses an LLM to help write an article. The AI gives them this fantastic, insightful quote from an expert. The only problem? The expert doesn't exist. The AI just fabricated them. This is a perfect example of how the AI's main goal, just creating text that sounds good, can absolutely torpedo a career. We're talking public retractions, getting fired, the whole shebang.
And you might think, okay, but what about something logical like code? Well, even in the technical world of software development, the dangers are just as real, but they're way more subtle.
So, a developer asks an LLM for some code to handle user logins. And the code it generates? It looks great. It works. It passes all the basic tests.
But hidden deep inside is a tiny catastrophic security flaw. Maybe it used an old, broken encryption method. The result isn't a little bug, the result is a massive data breach exposing thousands of people's private information. A disaster a human expert would have spotted.
And hey, just so we're all on the same page here, this isn't me trying to scare you with what-if scenarios. This is real. That number you see, that's the actual fine a lawyer had to pay for submitting AI-fabricated cases to a judge. These consequences are happening right now, and they have very real dollar signs attached.
Okay, so how do you protect yourself? Well, first you have to understand that these mistakes, these failures, they aren't just random bugs in the system. They are a fundamental built-in feature of how these large language models actually work.
Yeah, check this out. This breaks down the main ways these models can go off the rails. You see terms like hallucination, bias amplification, context collapse, and they all sound different, but they all come from the exact same core issue with the technology.
Let's zoom in on that first one, hallucination. Because if you remember one thing, remember this. A hallucination is when the AI just invents stuff. Facts, quotes, sources, anything. And it does it with total confidence. And here's the mind-bending part. This is a feature, not a bug. This is the model doing exactly what it's supposed to do, predicting the next most plausible word. When it doesn't know a fact, it just makes up a plausible-sounding one.
And that leads us to the single most important technical point of this entire explainer. You have to burn this into your brain. LLMs optimize for plausibility, not for accuracy. The AI's only goal is to give you an answer that sounds right, that flows well grammatically. It has no concept of whether that answer is actually true.
Okay, so we get the risks, we get why they happen. So what do we do about it? Let's build your defense system. This isn't about being scared to use AI, not at all. It's about having the professional discipline to use it right.
Your first line of defense has to be a workflow, a repeatable process that you just do not skip. And it all starts by treating the AI's output for what it is, an untrusted first draft. So step 1, you literally label it draft, do not publish. Step 2, you put on your detective hat and you identify every single claim, every date, name, stat, everything. Then steps 3 and 4, you trace and you cross-verify. You're basically taking the AI's nice-sounding story and breaking it down into individual little facts that you can actually check. All right, once you've deconstructed it, the next steps are all about rebuilding it with layers of actual human judgment. You get a sign-off from a real expert in the field, you do a risk review, you literally ask yourself, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen if this is wrong? You even red team it. You actively try to find ways it could be misleading. It's only after all of it, that you can even think about a final human sign-off. Now, you might be thinking, and it's a great question, hey, can I use the AI to help check its own work? And the answer is, sort of. A very cautious yes. But, and this is a big but, you can only use it to assist your own investigation. You can never, ever let it replace it.
So how does that actually work? How do you do it safely? Well, you basically turn the tables on the AI. You make it your skeptical assistant. You use prompts like these. You say, hey, for every fact you just gave me, list the primary source where I can go check it. Or act like a devil's advocate and tell me 3 ways this could be misunderstood. You're essentially forcing the AI to help you find its own weak spots, which you then have to go verify yourself, manually.
And all of this, all these workflows and prompts, it all leads to one final, unavoidable truth of working with AI. It doesn't matter how great your system is, in the end, it all comes down to one person. You. You are the last line of defense. And it doesn't get any clearer than this. This quote is from the judge in that real court case we talked about earlier. Reliance on artificial intelligence does not excuse an attorney's obligation to verify the accuracy. I mean, there it is. The legal and professional buck stops with the human, not the machine. Period. End of story. So look, if you're going to use AI for anything important, anything that actually matters, this checklist isn't just a good idea. It's not a suggestion. This is the bare minimum for professional conduct. You always treat the output as a draft. You always identify and trace every single claim. You get a qualified human expert to sign off, and you create a paper trail, a verification note with a timestamp. That is your proof that you did your job.
Because in the end, it really is this simple. The AI model, it doesn't have a license to lose. It doesn't have a reputation to protect. It has absolutely no skin in the game. But you do. Your career, your reputation, your professional license, that's all on you. So you have to verify, like your career depends on it. Because as we've seen today, it 100% does.